All right. Here we are. John Robert Quinn here, the guy who builds Talk Shows Coast to Coast, creator of JRQ TV, hanging out with Mr. Lamar Simpson. And we are in a very interesting situation here in America because we're seeing an influx of mass shootings. We're seeing shooting here, shooting there. We're seeing police brutality we're seeing all this, that, and the other thing. And yes, it's happening, and it's happening more often. The irony is that this stuff has been happening in Europe. It's been happening in the Middle East forever.
Yep.
All of it, it's now coming onto what do they call it? I don't know, but it's coming into the States now, and it's becoming a problem here. And of course, they think the solution is take our guns away, which makes zero sense.
So here's the thing. Yeah, the first we'll change the terminology from mass shooting to mass killing. The first mass killing in the United States was hundreds of years ago, and it was done with dynamite. Guy blew up a school, killed a bunch of kids. So this is not new in our culture. There are people who are prone to do those sort of things. Okay, so that whether that's a mental illness, whether
this is all mental illness. Every bit of this is mental illness. Every single
whether
bit.
It begins or something tips them over to that, right? Either you're born that way, there's just something wrong with you, or you have a bunch of stuff going on in your life. Maybe, I don't know, maybe you have a governor who's kind of crappy and he locks you up in your house for a couple of years, shuts down your business, and
that stuff doesn't happen though.
I thought you're right. I think I could.
That doesn't happen.
But yeah, in all seriousness, one of the biggest things about this pandemic and the lockdowns is people were very concerned for the mental health of individuals, both children going
but taking our guns away. I guess it's kind of the same thing as saying, okay, well, we want to reduce drunk driving, so we're going to just start taking cars away from people. Makes zero sense.
Moreover, taking cars from law-abiding citizens who haven't drink and drive.
Correct.
So it's like saying, hey, you know what? You're riding around on your motorcycle and you crash into somebody and you do it on purpose and you run away, so nobody can have a motorcycle.
That makes no sense.
It makes no sense. And the biggest thing is, I don't know if this might be news to some people, but if you go into a place, whether you're a mass shooter or whether it's just one person, it's illegal to kill somebody.
Oh, is it really?
It is.
You can't kill somebody?
No, you're not. It's not legal to kill somebody.
Oh.
So that would mean that you're probably, as a criminal, you probably don't care what's illegal or what's not. So making more gun laws probably will not do much good.
Whoa.
And as we've seen, Chicago being the number one highest amount of regulation for firearms has the most murders per capita in the nation.
So they're not allowed. So they have gun-free zones in Chicago too.
Oh, they're all over the place. They're popping up all over it.
You like how I'm doing this? I'm just playing really stupid here.
Well, this is why we shoot the videos, so we have things to talk about. But these people but the thing is, people don't listen. You said something interesting to me earlier about the Columbine and the anniversary of that happening, and now we're having more shootings happening.
Right.
A couple reasons for that. Okay, one, I think, as we were saying, these things haven't really stopped. They happen. They're publicized if they fit the narrative of the people who were in office at that time.
So what happens is you've got political agenda. God, this is not going to be a political show, but I do need to explain to you how it works, okay? You have political agenda. We need to pass this, or we need to do this, and so the lobbyists and the people who have the money bags go out and, well, long story short, Fox is paid by some people, and NBC is paid by other people, and ABC is paid by other people, and so on and so forth.
Absolutely.
So it's not that there are more shootings or more murders or more mass shootings. It's that there are more stories of these things based on who is paying for these organizations, these media organizations.
The media machine can push what it wants by making more awareness come to it. You know better than anybody, being in media and being able to push things.
Correct.
If you want someone to see it, they're going to see it.
Well, give an example. If I go and I do a taco restaurant or something, I'm not just going to a taco place and just shooting a video. Somebody is paying me to go to that taco place and shoot the video.
Correct.
Or somebody is paying me to sit here and talk to you about law enforcement or gun laws or protecting your family. Why? Because he has an agenda that he wants to protect your family. That's what Sheepdog Defensive Training does. They protect your family. They teach you firearm safety. So there's an agenda, okay? And when you have a media that is on a grand scale, Fox News, NBC, ABC, CBS, and the list goes on, Bloomberg, TMZ, somebody is paying these people to get this content out. They're not just doing it. They have bills to pay. They have people that they need to feed. They've got people that rely on those paychecks. That money has to come from somewhere. So what we have right now is coronavirus is you're starting to see the tail of it, okay? It's no longer the hot news topic. A lot of people are like, yeah, it's still the news every day. Yes, but it's not the hot news topic. It's kind of old news, right? We're getting sick and tired of seeing COVID. Well, we have a new agenda. We got the vaccine done. The pharmaceutical companies have been paid. They did what they were supposed to do. Now the agenda is to start with the gun laws and the whole thing. And that's why we're starting to see so much more of this.
Absolutely. Now, the other thing is...
Agree or disagree. You can leave the comments below, but that's how
it is how it works. But what I will tell you is how that plays into actually causation. We know we're dealing with people who are not mentally stable.
Correct.
So what do most mass shooters want?
And it's becoming more and more because of the situation, economic situations and so forth.
But what does a mass shooter really want? A mass shooter knows...
I think it's a power thing.
It's partially a power thing. You're only partially right there. The big thing is they want notoriety. Even if
I was going to say, they want to be remembered.
Even if they're dead, they want a high body count. They want to say, hey, this guy, here's his name flashed around. They fantasize about this. And what do they see when the media does and pushes these things for their agenda? Oh gosh, media is going to push that, so I'm going to go do it. Oh, anniversary of Columbine,
and then you start seeing more of this again, both off of the media, but then you have the copycats. You have the guy who goes and pulls a statue down. Well, then 2 other people pull statues down. And then 10 other people pull statues down. And then eventually all the statues are down.
Yep.
And it's the same thing in this situation. Why are we seeing a grocery store again? Because we had a grocery store 2 weeks ago. We had a grocery store shooting yesterday. Except they didn't catch this guy, which means that he's going to go out and he's going to do it again. You don't just go into a grocery store and shoot a bunch of people and then say, oh, okay, I got it out of my hands. I don't want to deal with that anymore.
Yeah. Well, and you also, I want to get more into the mass shootings, but I also want to mention, because you did mention the law enforcement police brutality thing. I think we have this very interesting story. This gal
with the knife.
With the knife. So we have heard everything from her standpoint, and how the officer was wrong, and he shouldn't have done this, and he shouldn't have done that. You've got a guy who's running out, he's kicking one woman in the head. You've got this other woman who's about to stab this woman, and it may surprise you to say, so sure, we're never going to hear law enforcement side. We know that. They're just always going to be the bad guy. You're going to have idiots like LeBron James that come out and think they know what they're talking about when they didn't get out of high school, whatever. But what have we? Whose side have we also not heard? The person that was about to be stabbed. Has anybody talked to her parents or her about she felt about almost being stabbed?
Correct.
No one's talked about that.
Not yet.
Why? Because that does not sell news.
The other thing you have the insurgents, I guess you want to call it, where they breached the Capitol, which I still have opinions about that, but I'm going to leave that alone. But the officer that was quote unquote killed. In all of that, he actually died of natural causes. He died of a stroke, 2 strokes.
Right.
He dies of natural causes. But while the media is pushing their agenda, they're talking about how he was killed. Well, now the news comes out, and now it kind of breaks the whole story. But it's already been told.
We all kind of knew that was happening. But it's interesting that you say that. And whatever your opinion is on what happened during whatever the insurgency was, that Donald Trump got blamed. They tried to impeach him again. The whole bit. Maxine Waters told people to go out and commit acts of violence, and nothing has happened.
Correct.
We have one congresswoman who is called for her expulsion, and she should have been expelled a lot of times because she is not good for the country. Because if I go out there today and I say, hey, let's all go hurt people, and I'm someone who's famous, if I use my platform, everybody knows Sheepdog, I say, hey, we should go out and do this kind of thing. I should be jailed, or I should at least lose my license. I shouldn't be doing stuff like that. I don't care what politically you are. Like we try. I know we try not to be political.
No, but if I went and I said to do something, do this, this, and this, and it created harm.
Yep. You should pay for it.
I'm held liable. I mean, if I tell you, I do a lot of business shows. I educate. If I tell you that you should do this, this, and this, and then you go bankrupt, potentially you could sue me for
potentially
ruining your life, right?
Yep.
So